Kai, Master of Pain, the Beast of Vengeance, and the Maker of Widows. And in the other corner, we have the newest antagonist added to the Shrek canon, being Death. And I don't mean it metaphorically, or poetically, or theoretically, or any other fancy way of saying it. He's Death. Straight up. And when The Last Wish came out, I remember everyone talking about this fight. And it's not hard to see why. One is pretty much the Grim Reaper, and the other guy is someone who defeated Death in order to return to the world of the living. So I get the conversation, and I missed my chance to talk about it last year. But with Kung Fu Panda 4 around the corner, I think today's the perfect time to talk about this very prominent matchup. But before that, I told my Discord server that I was going to show off some of their art. It's a pretty chill place, and I'm trying to integrate it more into my videos. So to all of my server members, this is for you. And hey, if you like those pieces and you think you got some good art too, be sure to join my server and submit your stuff. Who knows, maybe we can see your art in a future video. But with that out of the way, let's get into this matchup. Alright, so starting off with Kai, and before we see him during the events of Kung Fu Panda 3, he was a great warrior, where he fought alongside Master Oogway, where the two would become brothers in arms. But this all changed when, upon finding out Chi and its properties, Kai went mad with power, resulting in a fight with Master Oogway where he was forced to send his friend into the spirit realm. But it's during this first battle where we talk about Kai's first feat, because according to Master Oogway, their battle actually shook the planet Earth. The standard calculation for shaking the planet on the Versus Wiki, when taking into account the radiated waves specifically, would come out to around 1 teraton, which is small country level. But seeing as their battle was the source of the planet shaking, it's more likely that they scaled to the total seismic energy, which would be equivalent to around 20 petatons, enough energy to destroy multiple continents. Keep in mind though, these two values would have to be divided by 2 due to it being a shared feat, but it would still be around country to multi-continental for base Kai. I've heard some people say that this statement's kind of hyperbolic, but Oogway is the one who said the story and he's a very literal character at times. And 2, no one even really scales the Oogway when we see him during Kung Fu Panda 1, so there's not really any anti-feats. And plus, this potential multi-continental power gets eclipsed pretty early. But to get into that, we're gonna have to talk about Kai as we see him 500 years later during the start of Kung Fu Panda 3. Alright, so before we get into Kai's higher ends, I want to say that all the scaling he gets is via inverse context and stuff that's expanded upon during the spin-off show Paws of Destiny. Though I want to say that due to the 4th movie, its canonicity is a little iffy at the moment, but I do want to note that a lot of extra care was put into the show to make it feel like it was something consistent with the movies. It doesn't have a lot of continuity issues, so it's not really that hard to put into the franchise, and the team even stated verbatim that they envisioned the story taking place after Kung Fu Panda 3, and it even has some returning voice actors from the film as well. So this isn't some pseudo-canon thing that I'm talking about. It's only kind of a little iffy because of the 4th movie. There isn't any really like continuity issues at the moment, but you never know. So I'm just saying at the moment. This is important because Kai during the introduction of the film says that he's taking the chi of every single master in the spirit realm. This should include chi masters such as the Black Tortoise, who post-stated was able to stop a meteor from hitting the planet Earth due to creating a construct bigger than the Earth itself. When calculated, it's been found that this feat will be equivalent to anywhere from as low as 2.7 zenitons to as high as 30 ronatons of TNT, which is as low as small planetary to as high as dwarf star level. Also, the speed of this chi shield has been calculated to be in the relativistic ranges as well. So yeah, Kai would literally scale to this automatically as a baseline due to absorbing his chi, meaning that Kai would be anywhere from small planetary to even as high as dwarf star level. But this isn't even a high end for Kai. But let's take a break from him and move on to Death. Due to his role in the verse, it's safe to say that Death upscales pretty much anyone we see, anyone who's mortal anyways. But this line of thinking is consistent because he stated that no one has ever beaten him. A pretty broad statement on its own, but when you take into account the true extent to this comment, then this would make my previous line of thinking consistent. But let's get into the feats of those he upscales because we have a lot to talk about. Death should be able to upscale off the dragon, who can vaporize gigantic holes in mountains, which can get anywhere from town to mountain level. But if you consider that the dragon can travel very far distances in short time frames, we can actually try to attempt to find a length to how deep this tunnel is. This is because the dragon during the events of Shrek 4 took anywhere from 30 seconds using on-screen time to at least a single hour to travel from Shrek's home to the land of Far Far Away, which is at least a 700-mile distance. The hole the dragon made took around 3 seconds for the dragon to fully traverse, so the length of this tunnel would downscale a 700-mile radius by a pretty reasonable extent. And due to this, it's been found that the hole's length and the overall radius of vaporization would bump up the fireball all the way up to large mountain to even island level. The full calculation should be on screen, and if you want to know any more details, I'll put it in the description. Death should scale to this, as he literally no-sells walking through a more potent firewall. I'm of course talking about the flames being created by the wishing star. Said fire is shown to vaporize entire humans and animals, but do keep in mind, it only seems to take into fully effect after the victim is fully engulfed into its flames, because if you're pulled out of it, you'll be fine. Combine this with the fact that it's an actual star, and it's been determined by walking through the fiery wall would be equivalent to enduring 3 to even as high as 4.5 pentatons, which is dangerously close to multi-continental. It's actually continental plus by itself, but seeing as he no-sold it, death should be close to at least around multi-continental. But for higher ends for death, he should still be able to beat Jack Horner if he got his wish from the star. Jack Horner wanted to be able to control all of the world's magic, and when he looks into a fortune orb about getting his wish, it's shown that he's able to destroy the planet with his newfound power. This is consistent because magic in the Shrekverse can create barriers that can no-sell planetary explosions. But for an even higher end, you could attempt to argue that he doesn't fear the star at all or its power, as he eggs Puss on to use its power to create more lives, and as previously mentioned, he no-sells its fiery wall. This is consistent because there's actually another wishing star in the Shrek canon, and it's a sentient talking star, and yeah, it's called a wishing star. But more importantly, by the end of the episode, the star dies, so you could actually argue that death has gone to wishing stars before. Keep in mind, the star in this episode was shown to be much bigger than the entire planet Earth. So just like Kai, you could argue death to be anywhere from multi-continental to dwarf star level. As for speed now, he would upscale Puss by the start of the film. Keep in mind the last wish takes place 10 years after Shrek 4, and it would be easily understandable to argue that he should be as fast, if not even faster than he was in the past. This is crazy because Puss should upscale Fiona's surprising speed feat from Shrek 1, as well as upscaling multiple feats in his own spin-off show where he was shown to evade electricity / bolts of lightning, which will get anywhere from massively hypersonic to relativistic plus. Death literally clowned on this version of Puss in Boots in terms of speed. So yeah, when you lay it all like that, Kai and Death would actually be relative in stats. But is there anything else we can use to upscale Kai? Alright, so now we're going to dive into much crazier ends, so stay with me for this one. So I'll start a little simple. During the events of Kung Fu Panda 3, Oogway affirms that he sent the universe message to Po's father to go find him. And he adds on to this statement by saying that the universe needed him. Yeah, we're getting that crazy. Nothing definitive yet, but you guys know me. I wouldn't bring up such a broad nothing statement if it didn't have any feats or lore implications to back it up. So let's get into that. Kai's best showcase of power is the fact that he scales to and above the spirit realm itself. But how do I know this? Well, in the previously mentioned spin-off show, it was stated verbatim that in order to escape the spirit realm, you would have to be outputting power greater than the entire spirit realm itself. Well, how big is the spirit realm? In some shots, it's shown to have a sun. And to add on to this line of thinking, people who worked on the layout design of Kung Fu Panda 3 have gone out of their way to state that the spirit realm is outside of the universe and it's its own separate space-time. So you could argue Kai had to overpower an entire different plane of existence just to escape the spirit realm. And then we can get even crazier because the same spin-off show says that the spirit realm has no borders, the obvious implication being that it's an infinite size space. So yeah, Kai overpowered a different infinite size space-time outside the universe. Showcasing or demonstrating infinite power on a third dimensional level would qualify a character to be around high universal. And to all you guys who think that going from multi-continental to uni is a crazy stretch, remember, Kai spent 500 years stealing the chi of every master in the spirit realm. Stack that on top of the previously mentioned fact that even one spirit user can output dwarf star level feats, then it stands to reason that he could potentially get this strong over time. Kai also says that once he collects Oogway's chi, he would become powerful enough to escape the spirit realm. Keyword being powerful, meaning that yes, this scales to his attack potency. So yeah, he kind of mogs Death using the scaling, and trust me, I really tried. I tried to add on to the fact that Death would upscale all magic in the Shrekverse, and then I looked at Rumpelstiltskin's contract from Shrek 4, which seemingly created a different alternate reality to argue that Shrek magic can get up to universal, but I watched the film, and Rumpelstiltskin simply says that he took a day from Shrek's past, being Shrek's birthday, meaning that the reality we see on screen wasn't created by Rumpelstiltskin's magic, it was just a result of him taking away a single day, and it didn't create any universe. So that matter was dead in the mud. Then I try to find another universal meta for Shrek magic because apparently Jack Horner has a bottomless bag, which he carries around with him, and he states it to be bottomless. But this isn't really consistent in my opinion because Jack Horner is able to grab into the bag and take stuff out of it, as well as grow out from the bag. So unless you want to argue that Jack Horner has infinite speed, I don't think it's very consistent, and I'm not feeling that crazy today. There's also the fact that chi scales to speed in Kung Fu Panda, as when Po gathered his hero's chi from all of the pandas as well as Tigress, he he went from barely keeping up with Kai to being pretty much blatantly faster than him. So if Kai had enough chi to overpower an infinite-sized realm, he would more than likely also have infinite speed. So Kai wouldn't only be much stronger, but much faster than Death. But what does that matter? How would Kai defeat or kill Death? And I mean, he's kind of done it before, overpowering an entire infinite-sized Death realm. With the simple act of him escaping, going on to massively warp the appearance of said Death realm. So I think it stands to reason that he would be able to absorb Death. But what you guys should be asking is, how would Death even kill Kai? Because Kai, like he says, is a spirit warrior. He's already dead, even being immune to the Wuxi finger hold. So in conclusion, I think Kai has the means, as well as the existence, and overall just stuff in his toolset to beat Death. So just like that, we made it to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. This is a shorter video, but I have another video for you guys tomorrow. So I'll see you guys real soon. Have fun watching Kung Fu Panda 4. And remember, stay big, G fans.